That compost pile you've been faithfully turning for months might be sabotaging your garden's potential. While you've been following the same decades-old advice about balancing greens and browns, a growing number of successful gardeners have quietly abandoned traditional composting altogether. They've discovered a method so effective that it makes conventional compost piles look like an outdated relic from a bygone era. Traditional composting demands perfection from imperfect gardeners. You need the right moisture levels, perfect carbon-to-nitrogen ratios, regular turning schedules, and months of patience. Miss any of these requirements and you're left with a smelly, anaerobic mess or a pile that simply refuses to decompose. Even when everything goes according to plan, the intense heat generated during the composting process actually burns off valuable nitrogen and other nutrients into the atmosphere, leaving you with a stable but nutritionally depleted end product. The real problem runs deeper than just maintenance headaches. Your compost pile sits isolated from your garden beds, creating a disconnect between where nutrients are processed and where plants actually need them. By the time you've produced finished compost and transported it to your growing areas, you've lost precious time, nutrients, and the opportunity to feed your soil's living ecosystem directly. Step into any healthy forest, and you'll notice something remarkable. There are no compost piles. Fallen leaves don't get raked into heaps and turned weekly. Instead, they layer naturally on the forest floor, creating a continuous feeding system for earthworms, beneficial fungi, and soil microorganisms, right where tree roots can access the nutrients immediately. This natural process reveals the fundamental flaw in traditional composting philosophy. Soil building should happen where plants grow, not in a separate location months or years before you need it. When organic matter decomposes directly in your growing beds, it creates a living soil ecosystem that continuously cycles nutrients, improves structure, and supports plant health in ways that finished compost simply cannot match. The method that's replacing traditional composting is elegantly simple. Feed your soil directly by layering organic materials right where you want to grow plants. This approach, often called sheet mulching or in-ground composting, eliminates the middleman and puts nutrients exactly where they're needed most. So, to get started, lay down cardboard or thick paper right on top of your soil. This'll help suppress weeds, and over time it'll break down and actually improve your soil structure. Next, you want to spread a layer of kitchen scraps, things like vegetable peels, coffee grounds, and fruit rinds, right over that barrier. These nitrogen-rich materials, well, they really become the engine that drives decomposition. Now, the real trick is keeping the right balance, but you don't have to worry about the fuss of traditional composting. Just cover those kitchen scraps with about twice as much carbon-rich material like dry leaves, shredded paper, or straw. Sticking to this 2-to-1 carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, it really ensures everything breaks down cleanly without any bad smells or pest problems. Finally, add just enough water to moisten the layers. Think of a wrung-out sponge, not soaking wet. That's all there is to it. You know, earthworms are kind of the ultimate judges of soil health, and time and again, they choose direct layering over traditional compost. See, hot compost piles get so warm that worms have to wait until things cool down and the compost is spread out in the beds. With direct layering, though, you're basically laying out an immediate buffet that worms can start enjoying from day one. These little soil engineers respond to those fresh layers within just a few weeks, burrowing through the decomposing material and dragging nutrients deep down into the root zone. Their castings, produced right in your growing beds, are actually much richer in available nutrients than most finished compost you'd buy or make the old-fashioned way. A lot of gardeners who switch to this method, they often see dramatic increases in earthworm populations, which leads to better soil drainage, more aeration, and improved fertility, all without any extra work. While hot composting tends to burn off nitrogen and other important compounds into the air, direct layering keeps all those valuable nutrients right in your soil system. The cooler, steadier decomposition process means nutrients are captured by soil particles and mycorrhizal networks instead of being lost to the atmosphere. This nutrient retention, it actually creates a compounding effect over time. Every new layer you add builds on what's already there, making your soil richer, better at holding water, more supportive of beneficial microorganisms, and honestly, less dependent on outside inputs. Over time, as organic matter builds up in your garden beds, nutrients are retained more efficiently, leading to richer soil profiles year after year. This compounding effect really boosts the overall health of your garden. Plants growing in these beds develop stronger root systems and show improved resistance to drought and disease. So, you'll notice your garden becoming more resilient and thriving, season after season. For raised bed gardeners, implementation couldn't be simpler. Just pull back the existing mulch, dig a shallow trench approximately 6 inches deep, and layer in your organic materials using a 2-to-1 ratio. Then, cover with soil or mulch, and the process begins immediately. Rotate trench locations each season to gradually improve your entire growing area. If you're starting new beds on poor soil, try the lasagna bed approach. Alternate layers of cardboard, organic scraps, dry materials, and soil until you reach the desired planting depth. This method simultaneously improves soil structure while creating an immediate planting surface, eliminating the wait time associated with traditional composting. This method wins on every practical measure that matters to home gardeners. There's no separate pile to maintain, no turning schedule to remember, and no months-long wait for results. Every organic scrap goes directly to work improving your soil exactly where plants will benefit most. The time savings alone make this approach superior for busy gardeners, but the real advantage lies in how it mirrors natural processes. Instead of fighting against nature's systems with artificial compost piles, you're working alongside the same processes that have built fertile soils for millions of years. Traditional composting served its purpose when gardening wisdom was scarce and soil science was poorly understood, but today's gardeners have access to better methods that save time, retain more nutrients, and create healthier growing environments. By feeding your soil directly through layering, you're not cutting corners. You're finally working in harmony with natural soil building processes. Ready to revolutionize your garden's soil health? Subscribe to Crop Corner for more proven methods that make gardening easier and more productive, and share this breakthrough with fellow gardeners who are tired of babysitting compost piles that deliver mediocre results.